Hey everybody, welcome to my studio. It's Joanne Rogers. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. So thanks for joining me today. We'll wait just a little bit while we get people to come on. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna just make sure I'm on my iPad so that I can see your comments, because I love having comments and it allows me to do some prize patrol. So when you comment, what I can see is your comment, and then I put your name into a draw. So comments and shares are especially wonderful. So as I'm trying to build my business, I'm trying to get out there a little bit more. So let me just turn this down. I've got myself up there now so that I can see your comments. So today we're going to be working with the Stamparatus, and we have a little bit of magic with the Stamparatus to make it work with the Happy Tales bundle. So the Happy Tales bundle is one of the things that I've been working with all week, and I am really loving this bundle. It is, because I'm such a dog person, it was one that I caught my eye right away. And so, hi Leanne, thanks for watching. So it was one that I knew that I had to get, and I didn't play with it right away because there were so many other things like the Valentines. I wanted to make sure that I had the Valentines and got that all covered. So now it's time to play with the dogs. So I've got lots to tell you today. So one of the big things is that we have a new celebration. So the second release celebration is out. So I want to show you the things from there because I got my order yesterday. So I pre-ordered and I got my items yesterday. And when they came in, I think it was like about 4 o'clock, then I had to zip out because I had to go teach for my last lettering for the brush lettering. Hey Karen, thanks for coming. And so I taught till like 9:15, then I had a coffee and a card class this morning, so I haven't had a chance to play yet, but I do really want to show you the stuff out of the new little celebration catalog. So I think maybe we'll start there actually. So for those of you who don't know, celebration is a great time of year for you and for us as demonstrators. So you can get free things. So Stampin' Up! Has a little catalog, and I didn't bring my little one here. I've just got the second release. But there are all kinds of free things in there: stamps, paper. There was ribbon, although it's not available any longer. And there's framelits in there too. So it's going on from now until the end of March. So every time you place a $60 Canadian order, you get to choose free. So what's coming out starting February 15th is this second release one. And so the colors are coordinated just like the other one. And I can't really show you the inside, but I have the stuff. So I'm going to show you the stuff out of here so that you can see it. So it's the next second release. And so the first thing I want to show you is a set that was made exclusively to go with the Stamparatus. So I wonder if I should turn these down. Let me just see here. Would it be better for you guys to see if I actually had them on the table, and then you wouldn't be able to, this wouldn't be backwards. So let me know. Hey Jennifer, glad you're here. So let me know, rather on the table, or can I hold them up like this? So this is the first one, and these are really cool images. Like this one would make great in all 4 corners of a square piece of paper. And then there's some images here, and I love the words too. So it's really got a little bit of a funky kind of font there. So it's brush, but really matched with some really bold serif letters. So that one's really cool. And of course there's a little heart in there. So it'll still work for Valentine's if you wanted it, or thinking of you cards. So that's the first thing, meant to go with the Stamparatus. And the next thing is an embossing folder. And it's not just a plain embossing folder, it is the dynamic embossing folder. And I'm hoping that you can really see it there, but I also did do it on a piece of paper. So this is called the Country Floral, I think it's called. Let me make sure on that title. Yes, the Country Floral Dynamic Embossing Folder, and it is really pretty. And that's the emboss side facing out, and then this is the deboss side. So it's really pretty. I did manage to make a card with this already. Yes, Leanne, it is a gorgeous embossing folder. And so that's free with a $60 order, and so was that stamp set. And then what is also out, which I think is one of the best things, is we have a Painted Harvest. Hi Karen, thanks for coming. A Painted Harvest stamp set, and it is in the distinctive style. So it's meant to be for all seasons. So every season is represented here, and I'm going to show you what it comes with. So this is with a $120 order. It's a bundle. So there is some really pretty paper that goes with this stamp set. And so there's all different colors in here, some very pretty colors with our corals and our, you know, I don't even know what the colors are in there, but I would say it's lemon lime twist or granny apple green, and there's some mint macaron, I think, probably calypso coral, maybe even some poppy parade. So really, really pretty paper, and just so you can see that side. So it's almost like little succulents here. So, and what's great, I don't know if this is going to continue in the main catalog, but the designer paper and this one too, I want to show you this guy actually. This one here is little mushrooms. Isn't that cute? So the this designer paper, you get 3 pieces of 4 different designs, double-sided. So you actually get to use, it's not quite so harsh when you want to use up a piece of paper because you know you're still going to have lots left. So again, that is a bundle, the 2 of those together, and they're with 120, and this starts on February 15th again. And what's also happening in March, and I didn't get them yet, is that Stampin' Up! For purchase only in the month of March is going to have framelits. They're going to have framelits that cut these out, but they're also going to have framelits that cut out the Lasting Lily, so another of the really popular celebration sets. The Hello Cupcake is also have a set of framelits that cuts them out. The Hoppy for You, which is the frog, and there's one more that I've just lost. So can anyone else remember what that last one is? Jennifer, yes, the paper is 12 by 12. I've just cut it down to 6 by 6 just to make it a little easier to show, but it is 12 by 12. And then there is a punch too. And again, I'm sorry, I don't have that punch. And I can't show you the inside of that little catalog. Otherwise I would be able to, oh no, the punch isn't in there. Or is it on the front? No, sorry, there isn't anything on the front. You're welcome. Okay, so that's Celebration, the new Celebration coming up. And I know some of you wait, you place your order and get what you want of the first little catalog, and then you wait for this second release. So I think it's going to be a pretty good second release as well. You're going to want to wait for March and see everything that comes out. So, but just another word of caution for with all of these things, it's while supplies last. So just like our ribbon is basically gone now from the first celebration, these things may go out. The stamp set, probably not stamp sets, but possibly the embossing folder and this paper. So I think it's going to be popular. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you about Celebration. And then secondly, I did pick a winner for last week. So I told you I made the party bag with Judy's name on it. And I actually saw Judy last night. So Judy got her bag. And so anybody who placed a comment or a share last week, I put your name in the draw. And then I made up another bag. So the winner is written backwards, but Jennifer. So Jennifer, I made this bag and I changed it just slightly. I've got a lot more circles on there, changed up the colors. So these are Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay and Gorgeous Grape and Whisper White. And so we do have our rhinestones on there. And this is a Bermuda Bay marker done exactly the same way as we did with last week. So I lettered on the bag and then put clear embossing powder on top of it and heat set it, or use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder. So I'll get that to you, Jennifer. So there it is for those folks who weren't able to join in last week or didn't see it. And good, I'm glad you like it. So that'll come to you, Jennifer. Okay, so what's up for this week? So this week is my product of the week is the Happy Tales bundle. And now I am going to turn you down to the table. So again, let me know if you can't see it, but I'm going to go right away here. Can you see fine there? Let's just see. I'll wait for you guys to get caught up, and I'm going to come in just a tiny bit. There we go. Just a little bit. So let me know if that's close enough. I think it's close enough, but not as close as I went last week or the week before. So let me know that you can see that. So the Happy Tales bundle, you can find it on page 33 of the Occasions catalog, and it is the dog. So as I said earlier, I am a real dog fan, and we have a dog that's a Cocker Spaniel. And although I wouldn't say this is the Cocker Spaniel, to me, it looks a little bit more like a retriever or a lab, perhaps. It works fine for me because it's a dog. So I do like the dog cards, and they're great for masculine cards, but they also have some really great sayings. So this So Sorry for Your Loss. A lot of people, and I do send this out, I send sort of thinking of you, and it's a sympathy card. Thanks, Karen. A sympathy card for people who lose their pets, because they are part of your family, and for us, they're our child. So it's like losing definitely a really key part of your surroundings, your household. So, best friend leaves a paw print on your heart. There's a little paw in there and a bone. A cute little rough. That's what we're going to use today. I think there's some hearts. And my card from Tuesday, let me just grab it. It's just on my table here. So this was my card from Tuesday. So it's just a reverse fold card, super simple to make. And I just used my alcohol blends on my dog. Looks like I need just a little bit more glue down there to hold that down. And then this is my braided trim. So I do tell you on my blog how you can get that curl in there, and it holds it. So I quite like that curl. It's just something that's a little bit more fun. So a really quick card that you can put together, and this could be just a friend card. It could be just about anything you wanted it to be, I think. And I do like the saying, so keep calm and wag on. So that's what I did the other day. And now we're going to make a card using the Stamparatus. So we've got my punch, and it's a builder punch, meaning that there's more than one thing that we're going to cut out with that punch. So we're going to cut the heart as well as the dog. Here's the stamp set, and I have pulled out the dog already. And we're also going, I've got them on my blocks. We're going to use the bone. I've pulled out some of the spots. I want to show you how those work. And I've used Friends Forever, and I think I've got the rough. Yes, so I've got those already pulled out. And I'm gonna, but first of all, you need to give me a little bit of guidance. So just like we do every week, I need you to pick colors that we're going to be working with. So I want to do a blue card because, again, I want this to be a masculine card. So let me know which of these colors do you think I should be designing with today. So this one is Blueberry Bushel. This one is Pacific Point. And this one is Night of Navy. So sometimes they don't show up all that well on the video. But let me know what color. Night of Navy, Jennifer says. Well, that was quick. Okay, so that's our choice. And now if I can get somebody else to make a comment, I also need you to pick the brown that we're going to work with. So, oh, we had 2 Night of Navies and a blueberry. So Karen, get your fingers going there. Because I know you were just a teeny bit too late last week. So let me know what you want. If you want crumb cake, and I'll put it right next to the Night of Navy. So we can go with the early espresso, we can go with the soft suede, or we can go with the crumb cake. So which one do you think? Soft suede. Karen, you're in there. Great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go with soft suede. And so this is great because I don't know that I would put those two colors together. So let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so one thing I do need is a little piece of paper in behind my stamping, which I didn't do. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to, we're going to cut with our Big Shot, and we're also going to use our Stamparatus and punch out our dog. But I want to stamp a background on here first. So I'm going to use not early espresso. See, I actually was prepared. I have my crumb cake and my early espresso out. There's my soft suede. I'll put those guys aside. Here's my soft suede. I need one more thing. So I've got my, what is this? Who can tell me what that is? My Stampin' Pierce mat. So here we go. And I've got my bone here. So I am just going to, I want that on the right. I'm just going to stamp up and down, and I'm just going to turn my stamp every which way. So it's just going to look a little haphazard. I'm going right off the edge. So as you're stamping, whenever you're creating your own background, stamp off your paper, because when you do, it immediately makes your paper look a little bit bigger. So it makes your card look a little bit bigger. So I want just a little bit in the corner there and maybe here. And I'm not going to do this other side. I think maybe we'll try there. If we have to add more, we can add more a little bit later. Oh, I see, Jennifer, you were soft suede too. So that's good. We went with the color that everybody likes. So I'm just going to put that aside, and I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're going to come back to it. But what I want to do now is pull in my Stamparatus. So I've got my Stamparatus here. Got a piece of thick Whisper White, and I've got just one of my plates in my Stamparatus, and I have my silicone craft sheet. So your silicone craft sheet, I'm just going to put in my guide sheet so that we're not going to stamp on our paper anyway, but I'm going to stamp onto my silicone craft sheet. And we don't really need our magnets, I just have them out. And we're going to take our dog, and it really doesn't matter where we put him. Maybe we'll just put him right there. And so I've got him ready to go, and I'm going to pick him up with my plate. And I don't have to worry about my magnets because this surface is not, it's not paper. So these stick to paper and you lift them up. When you're working here, oh, I've got two mementos. When you're working here, you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to ink this up. I could put my stamp set underneath here, if I can find it now. Here it is. I do tell you, I have a heck of a mess by the time I'm finished doing my lives. I need somebody to come and clean up after me as I'm doing them. Anybody volunteer? Who would love to do that? Who's close and could do that? Karen C, or Karen Y is a little bit further away. Jennifer is really close. Okay, so I'm using my memento, and I'm going to make a black dog. So I'm just going to stamp that right on top of my silicone craft sheet and get as good a impression as you can. You can maybe stamp it a couple times. So I'm going to do that one more time and get a little bit darker on there. So I'm doing a technique that is sort of like the mirror technique, but not really. How many people have seen the mirror technique in someone else's video, or you've tried it yourself? It is a fun way to, and this particular stamp works great with it, but it's a fun way to get almost an interactive design going. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of thick Whisper White, and I'm going to put it right over top of my dog. And when I put it on, I want to make sure that I lay it right over top. I don't want to slide it on because it's going to pick up that ink. So I'm just going to lay it on down. Doesn't really matter if it's straight. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to ink up my dog again. Now on this one, I will put my magnet on to hold it in place because the ink will lift up that piece of paper. So now I'm going to stamp my dog again and go right over top. Okay. And you can just rub it a little bit. Works great. So here we have, so now the pressure that you used to apply, to get the ink from here onto that piece of paper, also put the ink on the back side of the paper. So when I take this off, I'm going to have my dog. And I see I must have missed just a tiny little bit there. So I'm just going to grab, hold on a second. I'm going to grab an old one because I can't see a new one right now. An old Stampin' Right marker, which has a fine tip on it. And I'm going to put this aside because we are done with the Stamparatus. There's that mess happening. And I'm just going to make this dog's tail a little bit more complete. So had I noticed that on my silicone mat, I could have stamped it again. I think I must have missed it with my ink. So I'm going to cover that back up. And now I'm going to punch out my dog. So one thing, I don't know, can you tell through the screen? So this dog is the backside dog. This one is the front side. So this one has a crisper impression than what this one has, but it works really well. And I realize I stamped that too high. So let me grab some scissors here. Just a plain ugly old pair of scissors, but they're longer, they do the trick. So now I'm going to use my punch and I'm going to place my dog inside there. I needed to have it a lot closer up because here's another trick for you. So I'm going to take just a Post-it note, and if you haven't ever tried this works wonderfully. So just like me, if you have a piece of paper that you've stamped on and you want to run it through a punch, take a Post-it note, stick it on the end, and it just elongates that piece of paper. So it's a tip that I use all the time because lots of times I'm not paying attention. So then I line up my dog right over top, punch him out. Your heart is going to punch out as well. But then what you have is this is the back side of the dog and this is the front side of the dog. So you're able to get both sides. So that's a great way to get a little bit more from your stamps. So now I'm going to pull in my piece of paper again because we're going to use our Stampin' Blends. So my blends I have, what color do we want our dog to be? So first person again, who's going to pick the color? I've got them all here. So your choices are, let me tell you, I've got the basic black, I've got the smoky slate, I've got the crumb cake, and I've got, what's this one? Soft suede. So let me know what color you would like our dog to be. So who's going to put their fingers to their typing, to their phone or to their iPad or their computer and let me know which one it's going to be. First one gets to choose. Wait. Crumb cake. Okay, Karen, perfect. So let me make sure I've got crumb cake. So there's crumb cake and this is smoky slate. So I'm going to get the dark. There we go. So there's the dark crumb cake. So I'm going to put a wash. So I think most of you have seen the blends. And if I go in, I wonder if I'm going to be able to pull back out. I'll pull it up so that you can see. Okay, so you're going to want to color, because I have a bigger area here, I'm going to color with my brush tip. Now the brush tip on the blends is not as resilient as the brush tip on the Stampin' Rights. So what we used last week when I was lettering was the brush tip on the Stampin' Rights. And it will bounce back. This tip won't. I was so excited when the blends came out because I thought, oh, great, alcohol markers for doing lettering with. Doesn't work. It doesn't take the abuse like the Stampin' Rights do. So when you're using your Stampin' Blends, you want to make sure that you use Memento ink because it won't run. So I'm just coloring the whole guy. I'm not coloring super fast, so I probably could speed up just a little bit here, but I'm trying to stay within the line so that he doesn't look like he was colored by a 2-year-old. Although sometimes, I don't know, they have much better coloring skills than I do. So I can leave that tip off. It's not going to dry out in the amount of time that you take to color. So I'm going in now with my darker and I'm going right over top of where some of those little lines are and around his feet and maybe on the back of his tail and perhaps a little bit on his muzzle. And now I'm going to go right back in with my light one and I'm going to blend that out. So I did a video on sort of getting started with your blends just a couple weeks ago. It was on it was on a Sunday, and when I did the Amazing Life stamp set. So I've got a video, not so much of Facebook Live, but a video that tells a little bit more how to color with them. So if you're unsure about them, that'd be the place to start. Okay, so I blended all of those out. I could go back in and do a little bit more, but he looks a little bit like a retriever, don't you think? What other kind of dog might he be? Anybody have a dog that's just like this? So if I pull that up so that you can see, and I'm going to try and hold it still so that it doesn't go out of focus for you. I have dark here. Now it will dry, but what's cool about this is that I have it on the other side, so I have the dark showing through because your alcohol markers go through the paper. So now I'm just going to color this side, and I may not even need to go in where I went in with my dark because I may not even, it's already got dark down here, so we'll see. So it takes just a little bit to dry, but I like how this looks because you sort of get 2 with 1 coloring. And again, I'm going to try and go a little bit quicker so you're not watching me do this quite so long. Do you think he needs a little bit more shading in there? What, does he need a little bit more to give him some? Yeah, I think probably a lab, Karen, like a yellow lab. he probably looks like. So here's the first side. So he's got some more shading on his chest and that, and around his haunches. Do you think I need to add a little bit more on the back side, or should we just go with what we had to start with? Someone give me a little bit of guidance there, because I'm not too sure if he looks like he's completed or not, because we do want both sides, because we're going to create a card where we see both sides. So dark, need some more. There's the front again. He's such a cute little dog. I really do like him. And there's the back side. Okay, anybody got an idea? You could also go in with some of our suede, and I think I'm going to do that. You know what? Because we're using suede paper. So when we have an opportunity to tie it all together with similar colors, then we are going to just do that. So I'm just pulling in just a little bit of the suede, and I'm going to go back to my, if I can find it, back to my crumb cake and just pull that out just a little bit. And then I think we'll just let him go. So Karen thought maybe he was good just the way he is. Okay, now I want a couple more dogs here, but I'm not going to subject you to watching me do all of the coloring. So I have pre-colored some. So I have all of these guys. So this one looks quite a lot like that guy. So the mirror technique that you normally see, you would stamp onto a piece of paper and you would get, and I can show that through another video if you guys would like to see it, and you would get the two dogs facing nose to nose like that with just the mirror technique. And it's something that is really quite fun to do. And you would get where this one is similar, not quite as dark as that one, but it ends up looking really quite cute. And normally what you do then, you give one a bow so it looks like a little girl, and then you leave one be the guy. So, okay, now we need to pick. Do we want two dogs like this, or do we want three dogs like that? So we are going with three. So let me know what you like, and then we're going to go on with the rest of the card, which uses the Bake Shop. So let me know. We're going to do one more thing to our dog. So I just want to make sure that we do that before I go on with the rest. So let me know which ones. So this one's soft suede, mostly colored. This one, two are the same, Leanne is saying. So we want two like that. And then I want a third one. So do we want to go gray, or do we want to go with the soft suede? And we are, as I said, we're going to do one more thing to him. So what's it going to be? This or this? Because we're going to go with these two, like Leanne asked for. But Karen or Jennifer or anyone else who's on, let me know what you might like. I'm just going to wait, because I want to do that one more thing for you so that you can see what he looks like. Gray. Okay, so we're going to go with the gray guy. Two and gray. Great, Karen. Okay, so we're going to go with these three, but I'm going to change up now that I made you all decide on that. We're going to change up one of these guys, and we can change up when they're facing this way. So facing that way, unless I went and got my Stamparatus and did it again. But what I'm going to do, so this set comes with a big set of patches and a set that look a little bit more like Dalmatians. And I've got that one for tomorrow's blog post. And I'm going to give this guy right here a little bit of color. So what you do, and you have to position and make sure that you're right over top. I think I've got this guy upside down actually. So let me just stuck it there. So what you have to do is position. So this goes over the eye. This is on the back haunch, sort of as he's sitting right here, and this is on the chest. I am going to stamp this off just so I have a little bit of light. Not quite so dark, rather. And then I'm going to stamp. So you have to get right over top, and I'm trying not to get my head in the camera, and I'm not quite in the right spot, but it'll still work great. Okay. And so why I did that after we used the alcohol markers, anybody have an idea why? So now we have a dog that looks a little bit different. So when we have alcohol markers, you don't use your regular ink, which is what this is, your classic ink, because it will run. So the alcohol in the markers in the Stampin' Blends will make your ink run. But when we put it on afterwards, it will stay put. Once the alcohol is dried and evaporated, it will stay put. Okay, so those are the 3 dogs we're going with. Let me pull that out. I'm going to get rid of my Stampin' Blends. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to cut an oval in here, and I'm going for 2 ovals. So this piece of paper, just for information, is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to cut an oval in the side of it. I'm going to go right over top of my my bones. Okay, so I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to hold that in place, and I'm going to pull in my big shot. So hold on just a minute. I don't know, I might have to rethink this working on the end of my desk, because it sure does not give me a huge amount of room. Okay, so I've got just my big shot, I've got my thin die adapter, I've got one of my standard plates, and I'm putting the other one over top. Okay, oops, hold on just a sec, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to put that on top of our navy. So it's going to sit on top of here. So let me take that off for a moment. I'll put it back on. And I'm going to put this down with snail. So if we're going to cut a hole in it, rather than going just all the way around with my snail, I'm also going to go down. So you do need to use a little bit more of your glue, your adhesive. Put that down. It should be fairly centered. I can tell that that's maybe a little bit off. How is that? There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so now, and one other thing, we are going to also put white on the inside of our card. So let's go ahead and do that. Same thing. I'm just going to put it on the back of my card. Well, no, I'll do the whole thing right now. Okay, so I'm going to put that on. Again, trying to get it as even as possible. And then I'm going to put it on the front. Oh, looks, I've got a bit of a dot there, so it's good that I picked this one for the back side. And put that on. And this way, when I put it on like this, I can sort of line it up. So I'm lining up there so that I can get it going across. And hopefully I haven't put that down too far because it's not quite lined up. Let me pull that there. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now I have my card put together, front and back, and now I'm going to run my framelit through. So normally I would only run one of these through, possibly only 2. I used the regular Whisper White on here because it's just a little bit thinner. So let's see if I can get through there at one time. If I have to run it a couple times, I'm going to. So here we go. On, I'll come back again and we'll try and see if I got it all. And I didn't. You know what? I think when I made this the first time, darn. And I didn't take my stick off my washi tape. Okay, this is not a great result. I'm going to have to cover that up with something. So, 2 tips. 2 tips here. 1. Take your washi tape and get rid of some of your stick, because look, that's not great. And the second thing is you can get through 2 pieces of paper, but you probably can't get through 3, especially when the 3 are together. Darn. So what I'm going to do, I can see it here. I'm going to try something. I've never done this before. So let's just see if I can do it. So this is what you can try at home if something appears not to be working. If it doesn't appear to be working, I'm just going to start a little bit over again. So now my washi tape is not very sticky, which is what I should have done first. Let's just try this. Ugh. Try it again. So yeah, it is. You have to use a little bit more of your Popeye strength there. So let's see if I matched it up. Ooh, look at that. I did pretty darn good, but it's still screwed up. Okay. You know what we want to do? This is what you don't want to have happen when you're doing a Facebook Live, but I realized that when I did it last time, I just did the top and the blue, and then I did the white afterwards. So let me see here. Let me grab another piece of soft suede, and I have them right here somewhere. Right here. This is another tip that you might want for yourself. So when you're cutting paper, and you know how you often use a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. I cut a whole bunch of these, and then I just have them for times like this. And let me just see if I've got a piece of soft suede. And wouldn't you know it, there probably isn't a piece of soft suede in there. Boy, my day is really getting great, isn't it? We're going to use espresso. Okay, espresso, piece of Night and Navy. Happen to have one right here. And we are going to glue this down, but I do want to stamp on top of there first. So really quickly, I'm going to re-stamp that because I want you to see. Now, because this is a darker piece of brown, my soft suede looks not too bad on top of there. So I don't have to worry about picking up my early espresso stamp pad, which is underneath a mound of papers over there right at the moment. So let's get our bone on there, put that aside so I don't put my finger in it. And let's try that whole thing again. I'm going to glue this down. See, this is stuff that happens to me just like it happens to you when I'm creating. And so perfectly fine. It is just paper. I'm not too worried about it. Although it would have been nicer if it went gung-ho the first time. Okay, so 2 in. Let's use this. Has hardly any stick left. So let's see if it's even going to stay in place now. Put this over top. Let's see. Do you think it's going to go through? Yay! Okay, so that went through, and that also did not lift up. Perfect. Now I'm going to take another piece of white. So that box, this is where it really comes in handy. Okay, so I'm going to put that over top. That looks a bit smaller. This one looks about the right size, maybe. So I'm going to put this one and lay it there. And I'm going to put this over top. Okay, and I'm going to see about getting that through there. I'm trying to think how I did this. This is very strange, isn't it? It does work. But it's not going to work for me today. I'm going to try it this way. Okay, I'm going to try it this way. Hold your fingers crossed, ladies. Nope, but I do have a mark. Oh, okay, this is good. Then I'm going to put that over top. And there's little ridges in there, so you couldn't hear it, but it actually made a little click as it went on top of there. Okay, now we're cooking with gas, as my mother would say. All right, so let's pull this guy in. I don't have a score line on him, so I'm just going to fold him. I'm going to pull my folding bone in and just crisp up that edge. Okay. And there's my piece over top there. Okay, so that was a long way to get around there, so sorry about that. But now I have a piece of window sheet. So my window sheet is a piece that's 2.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to put that right over top. And you want your liquid glue, so liquid glue around your circle, and it's going to go on the inside of my card. Don't give yourself too much liquid glue because it will scooch out of there and it'll come on the inside, go in that part of the frame. So now we're going to take our white, I'm going to have to clean that up, and we are going to put that right over top. So we've created a window, and I want my snail for this, because it doesn't matter about putting liquid glue on there because you already have the window attached to your card. There we are. Put that over top. So it's just slightly out of whack there. So where'd our dogs go? So now what we want to do is are we still okay with our dogs being gray and brown? Because what we're going to do is we are going to have our dogs looking through our window. Okay, we have one probably on the front. I'm going to have one going the other way in the back. And I'm probably going to have one that I stick here. So maybe we'll put this guy here because we stamped on him. So I'll put this one on first, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And you don't want to put any glue on him because that will show through on your window. Okay, so what we have is the dog looking through. That's a little bit dirty. And then we're going to take our other one, this guy first, and we're going to put it on this side. Maybe we should have put patches on both sides if we could. So I don't want them to be exactly in the same spot. I want them to be probably a little bit higher. So I'm going to put glue on right here. Going to put him on. And then I have one more guy here. And that's that smaller piece of paper. Let me find another one. Okay, and that's too big, of course. Do you ever have days where you feel like you just should go right back to bed? This might be one of those days, although I realize it's noon. I should be a little bit wide awake by now, shouldn't I? So let's put this on there. I'm going to take that big shot out of the way. Okay, and we're going to place that guy down. Hopefully he's going to line up pretty good. And then we're going to put this last one somewhere so it looks like we have a pair. Okay, so we've got the two brown. We've got, so they're a little bit different. So we can glue him down. On the first one I made, I just stamped directly onto a piece of thick Whisper White. So I'm going to close that again. I'm going to put it down. So this card maybe takes a few more steps than other cards that you might make. You might make this for a significant other, perhaps for his or her birthday, mostly his. I'm going to stamp my friends forever on here as well, and I'm going to do it in my soft suede, and hopefully that's going to be straight on there. Go. And so the rough. So I've felt, so with the first card I made, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, I felt that it needed to have just a little bit more. So I'm going to pull in just a couple pieces, and I think maybe we're going to go with soft suede. Soft suede, crumb cake. Oh, what do you think? Which one? Which one's going to be better? Or I also have a little piece of gray that I can put in here, and then it ties in that guy. So, I don't know. Yes, Leanne, I have problems all the time. You guys just don't see them. And Karen also has an idea. You could have just drawn a light pencil mark around and then line it up again. I could. So, I'm going to work on that because I know that I didn't do any of that stuff last time. So I got to figure out what I did to make that work so well. Okay, so I'm going with soft suede. Jennifer says crumb cake. I think maybe we'll put a little piece of crumb cake. And I'm going to do my rough on top. But I'm not going to do it so that you can always see the rough. So I'm going to go from side to side so that it's coming in the middle in some cases. It's going off the side. It's going one side, then it's going down a little bit so that you can just see rough, and you know that there's something there. So more just for texture, and you can actually see what that word is. So I have to keep going all the way. So it takes a little bit of time. I'm inking and stamping as I go. Here we go. Get down here. Okay, so you don't want to just go all the way down in one line because then it looks like you planned that. So I'm going to go top to bottom, not just on top of the early espresso. And I'm going to actually put a strip down here. Put your rough so it's facing the right way. I did get a little bit of glue there on the bottom. And I'll pull out my snips, turn it upside down so you can see. I'm going to open it up so you can see and pull that, cut that off with my snips. And then I'm just going to put that crumb cake on there as well that Jennifer had suggested, because I think it does tie everything together. So on that one, though, I'm going to need to use liquid glue because it's narrower, and I never like to put my snail on top when it's narrower because I for sure am going to go off to the edge. So let's go down here. Get that as straight as I can get it, and I'm going to cut that off as well. You want to just let it set up for a moment, probably just a smidge longer than I did, but there you go. And you could put a heart in there, or we could maybe put the bone in there. Maybe I will, even though it's the same color. I'm going to put just one of those bones in there as well. So a little bit of a challenge today for me, but it's a card that you can create multiples. So you can create multiples and get them going the opposite way, which is really what my main purpose was. And I'm going to show you the other card I made, which was very similar, except it was done in the red with the grays. And so I just went plain. I didn't stamp anything on top of these guys. And if I open it up, so it's got the red lettering on it. And this guy here, I think I used a little bit of gray on him too, because I wanted to coordinate with that guy. And then this one is stamped directly onto the Whisper White. So take a look at those. Which one is your favorite? What color appeals to you the most? Let me pull these out of the way here, and so that you can really see them well. And which of those appeals to you the most? Red? Do you think a fellow would like the red, or a fellow is going to like the blue a little bit better? Anybody have a male card that, a male person? Anybody have somebody that they need to give a card in these colors to? And it could be. Leanne likes it in the dark. Anybody else like the dark, or do you like sort of the red? Marilyn, great. Thank you. She said I handled the challenges well. Yeah, well, yeah, sometimes you do. And when you think about it, when we're in the middle of the class or when we are doing stuff in our own stamp room, we try and just make the best out of what we're creating. So, and it's nice to have an extra piece of paper hanging around. So looking at both of these together, I think maybe I agree that I like the dark with the espresso on here. I do like that we did the stamping around with the bone on there. On this one, I don't know if you can tell, but there's 3 little hearts that are 3 little hearts for 3 dogs, of course. So, and Karen likes the red now. And so I'm glad that everybody, thank you very much for being patient with a few of my glitches today. I'm just going to turn you around. There we go. So you can see that I survived, you survived, my paper didn't survive. That's going to probably have to go, but I'm going to work on that. I'm going to put it in my blog tomorrow, maybe a tip on making that cut, figure out what I did do so that you can take that tip and work with it yourself so that you don't have some of those same challenges. So thanks very much for joining me. I don't think I told you what my steal of a deal is. So if you were to purchase the Happy Tales bundle, so that's the stamp set and the punch, I'll give you an assortment of what I'm considering dog-friendly paper. So the crumb cake, the soft suede, I think there's basic black, smoky slate, and basic gray. So I've got a little pack of that to get to you if you place that order, and you'll need to do that through me, through an email. So you can just send me your email, joe@designwithjoe.ca. And again, share this with your friends, please. So every comment, every share that you make gets you your name. And I'm going to do another one of these cards, and I'm going to have that as my giveaway, and I will pick that next week. So next week, we're going to be back to our normal time. So 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. And several of you took the poll and you put in what your preferred time is. And no surprise to me, I sort of knew that as I was putting it out. 6:30 on Tuesdays is what I'm going to move to, but I'm going to do that for March. So when we start in March, we'll be starting Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. so that more of you who are working are able to get on and participate and watch as we're doing live and, you know, see me make a boo-boo and correct it. So thanks very much for joining me again. Have a great day. And as we're going into the weekend, stay warm if you're in Alberta or across the prairies, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.